Okay, I believe we're live, and it's just one of those things. I think that there's never a perfect time to go live, but when you're feeling it and when you feel like people will benefit from you going live, then it's time to go. So I was sitting here thinking through what the last 2 years have looked like since I left corporate America. And while there are definitely moments where I feel like it was the right move to focus on my business 100%, there are also moments where fear settles in and it gets tough and things don't look so clear. You don't really know what direction to go in. Those moments have forged something in me that I never would have gotten if I was just working for someone else. And I realized that some people don't have that privilege. Some people are working in the office, some people are working for other people, and they don't know what it feels like to be an entrepreneur, but they want to know. Or they started a business and they're going down a path and they're running into a wall and it's just difficult and it makes them want to quit and go back into corporate America. So I decided to just go live and talk about 5 things you should do before quitting your job, right? And then 5 things you should do if you want to be an entrepreneur. And I kind of mixed it up a little bit. I'm going to talk about things you shouldn't do, mistakes that I have made or seen other people make, and then things that I've seen successful people do, whether they stay in a 9 to 5 or not. I think that all of these elements that I'm going to cover tonight will be beneficial to you. So hopefully you're strapped in and you're sitting in your bed, relaxing with your bonnet on, or you've like decided you're not going to be focused on scrolling tonight and you just want to get some nuggets. Well, I'm here for it. If you are interested in hearing more about this, just put it in the comments. Let me know where you are watching from, since we are going live currently across Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. I know people are out there representing on all of those platforms. So without further ado, here's the thing, right? Here are the 5 things you should not do when you're considering leaving your job. Because I've been there. I've considered leaving jobs before. I've actually applied out. I've applied internally. I've decided to, hang up the hat altogether. But I think these 5 things apply no matter what you're planning on doing if you're planning on leaving your job. So, number 1, do not quit without a real plan. I'll say that again. Do not quit your job without a real plan. What does that actually mean? I'm not talking about a business plan. I'm talking about a plan of action for how you're going to survive. If you go to some conference and you get all excited, you're in the moment, somebody has spoken something into your life, you feel like this is the time to follow your dreams, don't just do that. You need to truly consider an exit strategy. You need to truly consider what that means from a pro and con standpoint, how it's going to affect your livelihood, how it's going to affect the people around you, how it's going to affect your psyche. Because it's a big change, it's a big life change. You don't just make that type of decision without a real plan. And that plan requires you to spend some time with it. Even if you're on a job you don't like, even if you have a boss that is getting on your nerves, or the work is just wearing you down to the point where you just like feel like you have to get out of there to keep your sanity. Trust me, you will be a lot saner if you spend time planning it out and thinking through all of the pitfalls and the ways that you can avoid going down, or the ways you can actually make money, because that's a very important part about life. You have to be able to have revenue to live, to eat, to have shelter, etc. Right? So think through that and plan it out. All right, number 2, and I put that as number 1. It seems obvious, but you will be surprised that some people have literally just decided on a bit of emotion to walk away from the comfort and safety of a 9 to 5. Don't do that. Number 2, don't start your business with a 9 to 5 mentality. It's not going to be a constant paycheck every 2 weeks. Health insurance is going to cost a lot more. I can go on and on and on. If you are with me and understand this, please put something in the chat and let me know. But the bottom line is, working a job is not the same thing as working your business. You're not going to approach it the same. The experience is not the same. And if you have the expectation that it's going to be the same, you're going to be sorely disappointed. So don't approach entrepreneurship in the same way that you approach working for a corporation or working a 9 to 5. They are two different beasts. And if you're not equipped with the right mentality going into that, you will find yourself in a bad position. All right. Number 3, don't pick your business idea based on what you like or what seems profitable. I think both of those are mistakes. If you pick your business idea just because you think it's going to make money, the day that you stop making money or the day that money becomes slow, you're going to reconsider. And you'll find yourself in this thing I call a vicious cycle of entrepreneurship, where you're just bouncing from idea to idea, hoping that one works, hoping that one sticks. And then even if you make money, that doesn't mean you're going to be successful. That doesn't mean you're going to have fulfillment. That doesn't mean you'll be able to do it for a long period of time. The other part of that is not picking something based off of what you like. This idea of follow your passion, that's not enough. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't follow your passion. What I'm saying is, if it's your passion, then you should develop it and make it a skill set. You should develop it and make it something that you're actually good at. Because the thing that you're good at is the thing that you're going to become great at if you work at it and put in the effort. And when you become great at something, you will get paid for that thing. It doesn't work any other way. Everybody wants to get paid. Everybody wants to make more money, get more customers, have more attention, get more leads. But first, you have to be great at something. Pursue greatness. Don't pursue money. Don't pursue what you are passionate about. Okay? Pursue being great. And I think that when you do that, you'll find yourself in a lane that is both fulfilling and rewarding at the same time. Ask me how I know. What's up, Cedric? I see you, man. And Lavon, thank you for jumping in. I appreciate you guys leaving a comment. Let me know where you're watching from, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. I appreciate you. Even if you're catching a replay, let me know. All right. What we're talking about today is what not to do when considering leaving your job. We're on number 3. I got 5 points, and then I'm going to talk about what you should do instead, right? If you're considering entrepreneurship, if you're considering leaving your job, these are things you should do and not do. All right. Number 4, don't think about branding and marketing from a content standpoint. Like, social media is cool, but think about it from a context perspective. How do you make people feel? How do people experience you? That is bigger and more important than your logo. Who cares if your logo has the right colors on it and everybody likes it because it's cute, if you make people feel like trash when they experience you? Nobody cares how good your product or your service is if when they interact with you, they feel like you're too focused on making money than what it is you're serving them with. You have to interact with people in a proper way. That is how you build a brand. Now, you might be thinking, well, I don't have a business. I'm not an entrepreneur. Why do I need a brand working a job? Do you care to get a raise at any point? Do you plan on getting a promotion? Do you want your boss to speak about you in a good light when they go in the meeting? Your brand is following you around every day. Some people call it a reputation. What are you doing about that? Do you care? Because if you have the mentality of, I don't care about this job, I'm just here to get paid, then that's all you're going to ever get is the amount of money that you're getting. You're never going to be able to advance in life if all you do is for the amount of money you get for the thing you do. That's why they call it going above and beyond. Those people that work extra hours, that study, that research, that develop themselves, that take the courses, that get the certifications, those are the people that are going to advance in life because they're going to do great work. So do that before you consider leaving your job. Otherwise, you're just going to start a business and pursue something and give it the same amount of effort. All right, number 5, don't underestimate how lonely and mentally challenging and heavy owning a business is. There's a grit that is required in entrepreneurship for you to be able to maintain longevity and supply your needs, handle your responsibilities. It is impossible to do business without that grit. You're going to run into customers who don't want to pay you. You're going to have family and friends that don't support the idea. You're going to have moments where you've done nothing wrong, yet everything wrong is happening to you. What are you going to do about that? Are you going to quit? Are you going to decide, you know what, maybe this isn't the right business. I'm going to go start this other thing. That's fine. That happens. Sometimes it's wisdom to be able to pivot in a moment, right? But what I'm telling you is don't just imagine that it's just going to be peaches and cream. Everybody's not a millionaire. Don't let them fool you. Everybody's not flying on private jets. And some of the people that are flying on private jets probably shouldn't be flying on private. Look, here's my point to you. It's not all what it looks like on TikTok. There are real people out here who got businesses who are struggling. Like, we're not even going to talk about payroll. Most people are solopreneurs. They're not entrepreneurs. When you have to make payroll every 2 weeks or every month consistently for years, regardless of what's going on with your customer base or not, regardless of your cash flow and your P&L statements, that's when the real entrepreneur figures out, oh crap, this is serious. Okay, so don't underestimate that before you leave your job. I understand it's not always what it's cracked up to be, and you might not always feel like this is the thing you're destined to do. You may feel pulled to go into a different direction. All I'm saying to you with these 5 things that you don't need to do before you leave your job is consider the elements of the room that you're about to enter. If you're in a tropical island, enjoying yourself, kicking your feet up, building sandcastles with your kids or whatever, there's a certain temperature that comes with that. Let's consider that corporate. Let's consider that a 9 to 5, right? There's comfort there. There's also some discomfort there because it's not your bed. Sometimes you don't feel like being in the sand or, all of that good stuff. It's rare, but it happens. Trust me. Sometimes you want to be at home. You want to be relaxed. You want to be on your own schedule, which is what people imagine entrepreneurship and business ownership looks like, which it does from time to time. But it also doesn't look like, like I literally went to the dentist office the other day for a cleaning. And for those of you who are watching this that don't know me, I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I focus on brand strategy and marketing. I got 20 plus years in that field. It was part-time for the most part, but over the last 3 years, I made it full-time. So I'm in the dentist office. They're like, hey, man, you got to get a cleaning. I'm like, all right, cool. My first question always when I go to these places, now that I'm on my own insurance is, and when I say own insurance, I mean I'm paying for it directly, is, okay, how much is that going to be? And do I need it? Because an x-ray costs money. And you're not used to that when you're working for a job because it's just covered by your health insurance. But when you're a full-time business owner, you might have health insurance, but you better look at the fine print. Anyway, I'm moving on. All right, maybe y'all ain't feeling me. I don't see no comments on that. But trust me when I tell you, it's not all peaches and cream, and it takes adjustment. So plan accordingly, think through it. Don't just hop out there because you will feel like, what did I just jump into? Take your time. All right. All right. Here's what you should do instead. All right. We talked about what you don't need to do when you're considering to leave your job. Here's what you should do, whether you're leaving your job or not. All right. If you're not writing this down already, grab a pen, grab a pencil, because it's going to be important. But don't just write it. Actually do it. Actually apply it, and come back to me and let me know how that went for you. Okay. Number one, strategize on your business or your exit strategy or changing jobs, right? If you plan on staying in your 9 to 5, strategize on that for 30 to 90 days. If you're leaving the job altogether, 90 days minimum. You need to strategize on it. Think through it, plan it out, write it out. You need to strategize on it. It's not sexy, it's boring, but it's the work that's boring that saves you at the end of the day. Without a strategy, you are literally going into war without a weapon. Don't do it. Do not hit that battlefield without your sword. Okay? All right. Number 2, get brand clarity before you get paperwork. Anybody can file an LLC. It can be done in a couple of minutes. Anybody can register a name with the state. Anybody can get a domain. Anybody can get a logo on Fiverr. You can get one for $20 or something. It's not going to be great. This is the truth. But you can get it. ChatGPT can create a logo for you. I see people do it all the time. Not going to be that great, but you can do it. Here's my point to you. If anybody can do it, what makes it so special? Having brand clarity, knowing who you are, understanding your brand identity, your positioning, the market, the geographical effects of the business that you want to do, right? All of those things, those integral pieces of how you're going to make yourself distinct in the thing that you're trying to do. Figure that stuff out before you go try to get the logo, before you try to file the LLC. Again, it's not fun work, but it's necessary. And if you plan on staying at your job, but you want to move to a different position, or you want to stay in your role, but you want to do it at a different company, it's no different. Get brand clarity. Is this the role that you really want to work in? Can you see yourself doing this for the next 5 years? Can you see yourself working at this organization for the next 5 years? You guys have to put a little bit of thought into these things before you just move. I do believe that there's a thing called paralysis of analysis. You can sit and think too much. You can strategize and never actually do anything. I know people that do that as well. I'm not recommending that. I am, however, recommending a balance between the two. Me and my wife are exact opposites in that way, or at least we have been at some point in time. She's what I call a go-getter. Whenever we come up with something, she's ready to move. She's gonna make it happen. I had to get some glasses recently. My eyes aren't failing me or nothing, but I can see really far really well, but up close it's not that good. So got my eyes checked. Again, business owner insurance, totally different. And she's been wearing glasses all her life. So I'm like, yeah, I need your help. I don't know what glasses to pick, what frames. I don't know nothing about none of this stuff. And I mean, same day, she's like, all right, let's go to the store. I'm like, all right, cool. I wasn't really ready for all that, but sure. And then next thing you know, I get a text. She's like, I'm outside. Come hop in the car. I'm like, I'm an analytical guy. So I have to sit and think through this stuff. I have to decide, do I really want to do this? As soon as I mentioned the word to her, she was on it. So I'm thankful for that, right? She's a go-getter. I'm a planner. I will sit and analyze the crap out of something and think through it and never do anything. I've gotten better with that, but you get my point, right? But together, we are a force, because I'm going to be the one thinking through it and planning and making sure we're not moving too hastily. And she's going to be the one that's pushing me to go instead of just sitting there planning all year and turning into a skeleton and never getting any glasses, right? So get clarity before you move. All right. Number 3. This one gonna get y'all, man. I promise you, I'm not just making this up. I've lived this. Okay. Number 3, show up from 5 to 9. Yeah. I didn't say that backwards. 5 to 9. Show up from 5 to 9. This is water in this red cup, by the way. My thinking is on point. What does that mean, Rob? What do you mean show up from 5 to 9? Why would I do that? If you want to advance yourself in life, whether you are working at your job or quitting your job or you're a business owner, show up from 5 to 9. In January 2020, I think it was 2022. Yeah, I think it was 2022. January 2022, I decided I was going to read this book called Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Changed my life. It's not even a religious book. I highly recommend you either listen to the audio or buy the book. The premise of the book is that you take advantage of the time you have. None of us are guaranteed time. I don't want to hear the idea that, oh, I don't have enough time for that. Yes, you do. We all do. I know some moms out here who are working a 9 to 5, working their business, single parent, 3 kids, going to school, and they still got time. If they got time, what makes you think you don't have time? Anyway, I'm off that horse. 5 to 9. What that meant for me was I dedicated myself for 90 days. This stuff that I'm telling you, I'm not just talking. I built my brand doing the same thing. 90 days, 5 to 9 every day. What does that mean? 5 a.m. wake up. I strategized on my business until 8 a.m. when I started working for my full-time job at that time. From 8 to 5, I worked that business. I worked for that company, not my own business. I focused on my job. That's what I was paid to do. At 5 p.m., I shut my computer down. I went for a 1-mile walk to debrief and reset. No phone, no music, just me and God. Went for that mile walk, cleared my mind, came back home, spent a little time with the family, and I went right back to work on my business from like 6 to 9. So that's why I say 5 to 9, 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. If you can't work a shift like that on building yourself up, because it's not about building a business. If you can't do that for yourself, then you will not succeed as an entrepreneur, period. Because there is no set schedule. Oh, I'm a boss. I set my own schedule. Yeah, that's right. You do. And if you don't work, you don't get paid. So you might have other obligations. You might not be able to get up at 5 in the morning. You may have to be at work at 6, so you get up at 5 a.m. already. Your time may vary based on what you got going on. All I'm saying is spend extra time before your day gets started while everybody is asleep. The sun ain't even up. You need to be up, spending a little time in meditation, reading scripture, worship, stretching, working out, something to kind of get your mind in the right place. And then strategize on what you want to do and where you want to go. That I spent those 90 days, I filled up 2 composition books, those black and white notebooks, page after page of notes, thoughts, brainstorming, methodologies, pricing models, frameworks, researching stuff, studying. I learned my craft in those 90 days. And the results are in. I went from making like $33,000 a year part-time in my marketing agency to making $133,000 a year in that same year. I grew my gross revenue by $100K. That didn't happen just because. It happened because I put the effort and the time in. All right, I'm getting off track. I don't even know if y'all hear this, man, but you know what? I'm not doing this for the masses. I'm doing it for whoever's listening. So this is for you. All right. Number 4, prepare yourself mentally for the pressure and the slow days. The pressure and the slow days. Not one or the other. They're not one and the same. For both. Business it comes and goes. There are going to be slow days. If you decide to quit your job, and let's say you decide to just quit your job because you can't handle it, but you still want to get another job. You don't necessarily want to be a business owner. You think that first interview is just going to go so well, they're going to hire you immediately? I know people who got laid off when I got laid off 2 years ago that still don't have a job, and they've been applying religiously. You might say, oh, it must be something wrong with them. Maybe. Maybe it's something wrong with the economy. Maybe there's just not a lot of jobs hiring. Maybe competition is fierce because over 300 Black women got laid off recently. You understand what I'm saying? There are so many elements that go into it. You cannot just assume that it's going to work out. So those are slow days. You got to prepare for that. Do you have savings in place? Do you have an emergency fund? And if you decide to go the business route, 1 month you might make $20K. The next month you might struggle to make $2,000. You have to prepare for those days. And the pressure is immense because you put pressure on yourself, your family and friends put pressure on you, your customers put pressure on you. You have to prepare yourself for that mentally. When so I'm a father of 3, for those of you who don't know. When I got ready to go to each one of my children's birth, I had to prepare myself for that. And I know, I understand. Oh, poor you, Mr. Man who didn't have to carry the baby. What you got to prepare for? The emotional toll, being there for my wife, making sure I'm structured and, got everything lined up, carrying bags, all the stuff that I have to do, because it don't really compare to what she have to do, right? But I have to be there and I have to manage. And if something is going wrong, or, when they take the baby over here, when it's really supposed to go over there, like I have to mentally be prepared to shift and move and do what I need to do. So guess what? I got to take off work. I can list all type of scenarios where we have to mentally prepare for things. What makes you think that you don't have to mentally prepare for changing the direct and most rewarding way you make income, which is your job? That takes preparation. All right, finally, number 5, and this probably is the most important thing when it comes to what you should do when you're considering leaving your job. This is by far what I would consider the most important thing that I have ever done in my life as it relates to making this type of decision. Validate your idea with experienced people. I can't say it enough. Experienced people. Why is that important? Why should it be with experienced people? Well, primarily because you want to make sure that the person that you're talking to has walked the walk. They've experienced something in line with what you're talking about and what you're doing. Because otherwise, you're getting advice from somebody who has no clue how to do the thing you're trying to do. Now, I've heard people say this, and I completely disagree. You can't teach me anything if you haven't been successful in the area that I'm, interested in. I disagree with that 1,000%. I think anybody can teach anybody anything if you're willing to listen and learn. But beyond that, I do understand the concept of what they're saying. But just to give you an example, I don't believe that you can't learn anything from somebody who's divorced about marriage. Of course you can. They've been there, done that. They can teach you a lot about what to do and what not to do. Just because they don't have what some would consider a successful marriage doesn't mean you can't learn anything. So Get with somebody who's experienced in the area that you're trying to pursue, whether it is, again, a 9 to 5, a corporate job, getting a raise, promotion, etc., dealing with people of different races, whatever it is that you don't have that experience in and you're about to do it, you need to talk with somebody who has that experience. Get with them. Same thing with business, same thing with building a brand, entrepreneurship, all of that good stuff. Don't just talk to people or look to talk to people that are on level A. If I want to be a good actor, I'm not going to just try to go talk to Denzel. I mean, if you run into him, great. But also consider the people who are busting tables and they tried to act for 15 years and it didn't work out. They have some experience. That's what experience is. You've done the thing. If I'm trying to learn how to swim and I'm on the side of a pool reading a book, I'll never really learn how to swim until I get in the water. But if I talk to an experienced swimmer, they can give me some pointers before I get in the water. You understand what I'm saying? So connect with somebody who knows the path, who's been down the road. They can say, hey, watch out for that snake around that bend. It's a rock and it's a big black snake right there. It bites everybody that walks past this path. Guess what's going to happen when you approach that point? You are prepared for it. That doesn't mean you won't get bit. It means your chances of getting bit are a lot less, okay? All right, so look, I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's Friday night, December 5th, 10:30 almost. I think I've been on this live for almost 30 minutes. I was just in a mode where I felt like it's necessary to talk about some of these things because there are a lot of people who are considering making some life-changing moves and they don't know which way to go. They don't even know who to talk to or if there's anybody out there that they can talk to about these things. Or maybe they got laid off and they're unsure about the path they should take. They're on an in-between phase of their life. Share this with them. Let them know they can reach out to me. I have a community full of business people, professionals, entrepreneurs who are set on understanding the best path before they take that leap, right? So if you're interested in that, comment the word community, or you can go to community.rodbrinson.com. It is a paid service because we meet daily, weekly, monthly, and build each other up. So I'm looking forward to serving you guys better. My name is Rod Brinson again. I'm a brand strategist, and I look forward to you making the right decisions as you build your brand. All right, talk to you later.